Okay, I did a test on the Daisy 840, which is right there. And the test that I did was on some rhino pellets. These are 3.4 grain, so I'll show you them. They're very long, longer than most pellets. And you can use these in the 840, but you have to pull back the bolt really far and back load them this way. So no need to muzzle load them. You can fit them in there if you pull that bolt back all the way and feed them in that way. So they will fit. So here they are. 3.4 grain, and they claim that there's 40% metal in it. And this is a container of 150. These are Skenco, by the way. They started making plastic type pellets quite a while back, and even ones that were like the Sable ones, like the penetrating type ones. They were known for that, making them kind of pellets too. Anyway, let me show you the results I got on paper here. So we got rhino, it's 3.4 grain. At muzzle, it's 457 feet per second. The energy is 1.58 foot-pounds at muzzle. At 15 yards, I took a chronometer and I measured 280 feet per second, and the energy is 0.59 foot-pounds. And that's to be expected because it's a lightweight pellet, so it dropped in velocity very, very quickly. And you can see here it dropped in energy very, very quickly. That's because it's a very light pellet. But impressive FPS right out of the barrel. So what I'll do is I'll show you what it did here. So the first test I did was the bottom of the can. It had no problem penetrating the bottom of the can and came up the side here. And then what I did is I lined up 3 of these cans, and it went through all 3 of them, and then had a dent on the 4th one because it started to tumble instead of going straight. So it'll come out straight for quite a while, and then it'll start to go sideways. So it's really good with cans. And then I tried a soup can, which is kind of impressive. Punched a hole. Now these are the Walmart soup cans, so these are a little thinner than them other major brand labels. But it punched a hole through this side, and then it tried to get through the other side. So that's impressive for a soup can, for a polymatch pellet weighing that light. So amazing. So anyway, it did that, and these were both at point blank range. So let me show you the groupings here. The groupings were kind of impressive for up to 10 yards, I would say. 1 inch center to center for 5 shots at 5 yards. And this was doing bench rest, strict bench rest, where I really make sure that I'm real steady, and I use the rifle rest or whatever. So we got 1 inch groups at 5 yards. These are 5 shots. And what I decided to do at longer range, since I knew it was going to spread out, is do 10 shot groups. So what I had done at 10 yards then is I took 10 shots. 9 of them were 2 1/4 inch groupings, and 10 were 2 3/4 inch groupings. And if you look at 10 yards, if you take a pop can here and roll it over all them shots, it's going to hit a pop can almost, or pretty much every time at 10 yards. So there's the 10 yards groupings. Now I'll show you the 15 yard groupings. That's when the accuracy, well, of course it's a smooth bore to begin with, so you don't expect this pellet to do too well, but it did okay. So at 15 yards, when the accuracy falls off and things like that, we get kind of really wide here. So we got 10 shots, and we got 8 of them that are 4 1/4 center to center. And if you count these ones right here, then it's going pretty wide. It's going probably 6 inches or something like that. So as you can tell, it's spreading out pretty wide at 15 yards, so you might hit a couple things, but looks like this one is going to be, you know, probably up to 15 yards or something like that. And the application of this pellet would be shooting indoors. And I did some tests on the Polymatch pellet shooting through soup cans and all kinds of stuff. I just took a few of them, and I wanted to do a test to see how strong they were. Now if you're just shooting paper, that's fine, but these two have shot in a soup can and some pop cans, and I don't see any damage. They get damaged when they fly sideways. They snap right about there. But these are the two pellets that I put through their paces, and it seems like they're still pretty much held together. So if you're just shooting paper indoors at 10 yards, that's no problem. I mean, you'll have fun with these pellets. You can even reuse them. I did try the reused ones, and the groupings were about the same, so I'm thinking that these, you know, you'll be able to shoot them and probably reuse them again if you're shooting paper. So once again, I'll show you the container and hopefully get the blur out of the camera here. Let's see. So I show you the container here, and then give you a peek inside again so you can see what they look like when they're piled up on each other. They have kind of a low ballistic coefficient for 15 yards. It's about 0.003 or something like that. So with that kind of ballistic coefficient, you know, like I was showing you before, you have an impressive velocity here, but you're going to lose a lot of speed because light pellets it's just the nature for light pellets. We started off at 457, and by the time it got through the living room here at 15 yards, it was 280 feet per second. So as you can see, these pellets here, these lead ones, see like this one, 275 and 243, see how it kept most of its velocity? But light pellets, you know, so ultralight pellets don't do that. So, but quite impressive because yeah, 457 feet per second. Who would have thought that a Daisy 840 would do something like that, huh? But it just did. So I was hoping for 500, but 457 for a single pump, you know, for 10 yards shooting cans or shooting paper or something like that. These poly rhino pellets would, you know, would be good for that, shooting indoors and stuff like that. So. But anyway, thank you very much for watching.